Yeah.
We need to trigger a detonation on a large scale.
Hi, guys.
This is Kyle and Megan playing Halo still. Now that I didn't die those last couple times, by the way. You never saw that. This is a cool chamber. Alright, now I'm gonna take this encounter like I should.
Kill the bot. Let them kill each other first.
Let them thin each other out a little bit, yeah. So one of them turns around and decides they want to fight me. There we go.
That's better.
Yeah. Also, I stay back a little bit further, which is probably was another mistake of mine.
Yeah, so that you don't immediately get stuck by that one grunt.
Yeah. I don't take a plasma pistol to the foos.
But yeah, with that last rant from Kyle.
Yeah, I'm sorry I went on a little bit of a rant, and I'm sure I contradicted myself, because like who doesn't when they're talking? Like, that's the thing. Have you ever do you ever like go on rants or say like when you're upset about something and you are like, I'm gonna talk about it? Mm-hmm. Sometimes contradictions happen, and then people will use those contradictions and then just be like, well, your whole thought isn't valid now. And it's like, well, you just said that basically because I contradicted myself on one little thing, that my whole argument, every little thing I said, is invalid.
Yeah.
No. And I you know, and one of the things that like,
that's why I usually, when I'm feeling upset or if I'm feeling like confused, I guess it would be the best way to phrase it, is I talk to Nick first, and I get like the word vomit out, basically, where I don't censor myself, I contradict myself constantly, and I figure out how I truly feel about it before I talk to, say, the person that upset me.
Sure.
Or the thing that upset me. Because, like, if I go into, like, let's say you really pissed me off, Kyle, because you told me I looked fat in something.
Sure.
I would have talked to Nick about it and be like, where does Kyle get off telling me this, this, and this? But then, like, I guess he's kind of right because of this, this, and this, and then I'd be able to figure out, okay,
is it worth it?
Is it worth it? And maybe that dress was unflattering. Maybe Kyle was right there. Was it rude of him to say it? A little bit.
Sure.
And I'll grant my anger to that. But, like, maybe he was kind of right. So, like...
Yeah. I mean, like, because it's like, you can't just fly off the handle about it, you know? And, like, it's always good to get a second opinion on stuff like that. But, like, at the same time, you have to make sure that even if you're getting a second opinion and stuff, that you still, sometimes you have to make a choice, you know?
Whether it's worth it or not to get angry.
And like...
To get...
Even with that, like, you also have to be careful, because it's like, sometimes, like, for me, I'm very guilty of, I get paralyzed by the fact that I will think about every option. And that, well, that was easy.
Staples.
Boom, got him.
Still not sponsored.
Still not sponsored. If anyone wants to sponsor us, I will blow them. No, I'm just kidding.
Yikes.
I didn't say that.
Excuse me. Quick, get to the Banshee.
That's a lot of dudes.
You can do it.
Hold on, let me grab this.
Yeah, let's heal quick.
Over here. Hey, hunters, we here.
But yeah, like, usually if I'm upset or if I feel, like, frustrated or flustered, I guess, too, like, I'll talk to Nick and I'm like, am I
right to be upset?
Yeah. Do I have any right to be upset about, like, this situation or this thing that happened? And most of the time it's like, yeah, that kind of sucked. Why would they say that? Or, like, every once in a while it's a, you're overreacting right now. And, like...
Well, like, I mean, just knowing you, like, you get very angry.
Well, not just that. Like, I've come to terms with that. I know how to pick my battles when I'm hungry.
That's...
At this point, like, when I get genuinely mad, though, or genuinely upset because of, like, a situation that happened at work or with friends or anything, like, I'll try to think as logically about it as possible before I get angry. Or before, like, if I'm angry, I'll be like, okay, why am I angry? Dissect the anger.
I feel like I'm going the wrong way, but I don't remember. Yeah, and like, rather than potentially say something, you know, really hurtful or factually wrong, or just something rude, you know,
like you have to catch yourself before you make a mistake that's more permanent.
That costs you a friendship or costs you a loved one, you know, like just because like family are family doesn't mean that like I know family members who are so ingrained in their thought pattern and the way they think and like the echo chamber that they're in, that they're not willing to have conversations, you know. And like if you broach a conversation, you know, like people lose family over that sometimes. Like it's like somebody coming out as gay, you know, like that's a big deal for some people, where if you come out as gay, like people might just straight up disown you.
Yeah.
And that's fucking horrible and sad for me,
and
you know, but like that happens.
And like that happened to
I went the wrong way.
That happened to one of my family members, my dad's cousin. So my cousin once removed or whatever. He came out as gay when he was in his 20s or so, and his dad basically said, "I have no son."
And that's like a really sad feeling.
That's so,
to like, think about.
Like, to me, it's baffling, and it's like
it's a foreign idea.
Yeah.
To like just to tell somebody that like, hey, you are no longer part of my life because you identify as a different sexuality.
Yeah. Like, Nick and I have had a conversation about this before, because I like to play the pretend game. Like, oh, well, what if we have kids? Like, what were their names gonna be? And like, I've asked him before, I'm like, what if one of our kids was gay? And Nick looked at me and said, love them like any other time?
They're people. Like,
like
what's the difference? You know, like,
because like I don't feel like it's, I guess, that big of a deal. And that's also because like I'm not religious. I'm not
sure you
into
don't have
that.
the religious aspect to ground that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like so surprising that let's say my uncle Terry didn't talk to my cousin Marvin. You know, like it was so baffling, because it's like, well, why does his dad not like him? Oh,
like,
because he's different. What?
Just
like,
because he's different.
Hello? I'm sorry? But that's kind of like my dad's side of the family too, is they're a little bit more, they're more willing to write somebody off, which is really upsetting to me. Like, there are some times where my grandpa and his brother don't talk at all for like years.
Really? Because
they disagree with one another on something, or they feel like it's, because my great uncle will owe my grandpa money or something like that, because it's like something really small, but they won't talk, and it'll be literally for years, and that's astonishing to me. I can't go like 2 days without talking to my sister. We Snapchat each other literally every single day.
Mm-hmm. And see, like, I don't talk to my family very often, but it's not because I disagree with them on anything. It's just because
the timing of it all.
The timing, really. And like, I am not good at communicating with people in general.
True.
I'm not. I'm far more adept at like talking to people in person. But like the minute I'm not with somebody in person, you know, like talking. Oh, I'm gonna run away. I'll be good. Talking to people over text can be really hard sometimes for me. Like I don't. It's not something I like to do. You know, like I'd rather sit and have a conversation with somebody in person. You know, but that's just me. You know.
Yeah.
But
I've definitely noticed that before. It's almost impossible to talk to you through text.
Because it's like, and it's not like a matter of me like not liking somebody and then going, oh, I don't want to talk to them. It's just like sometimes talking over text or like phone or like something that's not just like an in person, you know, medium or commentary. Like it's genuinely.
Thank God.
I thought that dropped off the edge. It's really hard. I don't like to do it. Like it for one, I feel like a nuisance sometimes. You know, like where I'll like send something a bunch of times. I'll be like, I'm being a nuisance right now. And then other times I'll be like, well, I'd rather be focusing on whoever I'm around rather than thinking about texting somebody else who's not there. You know, and like.
And
like that's not like anyone's fault. It's just like a matter of I'll get back to you. Like that I view texts as something like I'll get back to you when I get back to you. You know, like it's not something that you necessarily like is important, because if it's important, then
they'll call.
They'll call, or I'll be talking to them in person and they'll bring it up and we'll have that conversation right there. You know, like yeah.
Like and that's something that it's kind of like. It's definitely I think it's a generational thing too. It's because like,
absolutely.
I think like our age people, so people between 17 and like 25-ish, I'll say, like they grew up when cell phones were just starting to get big, you know, when they first started getting out. So like texting, there were health packs behind you too.
Was there really?
Yeah, there's 2 of them before you get too far.
Where are they?
Back a little bit further.
Oh, he got in my face. He fucked me.
He's still fucking shooting at you.
Wow, that guy was aggressive.
But like, that was like it was like a generational thing basically. Cause like, even now sometimes I'm like, I don't really feel like texting. I'll call him. And like, see,
I see him, yeah.
To your right. And one of my friends, she's like, stop calling me. I hate it when you call me. I'm like, well, sometimes I'm like, well, I'll admit, I use my phone when I drive. I don't text. I never text when I drive because that's way too much time where my eyes are off of the road.
I am absolutely guilty of it. Like, I won't lie. I mean, it's like, not something I'm proud of, but...
Like, I'll call somebody and I'll drive because I feel like at least my eyes are still on the road. And if I need to focus on the road more, I can just tell them, hey, hang on a second.
Yeah.
But the only time I've ever texted while I was in the driver's seat was I was at, like, a railroad or a area the bridge went up. So it's, like, a period of time where I would have enough time to draft a text, essentially.
And, like, look at it.
Yeah.
Oh.
But, like, I prefer calling people. Or, like, I prefer calling my friends. I don't like calling and making appointments. That shit's the worst. But I like calling my friends and being like, hey, it's me, what's going on? Like, do you want to hang out today?
Yeah.
And they're like, don't call me.
Just send me a text.
Just send me a text. I'll get back to you in a second. Like, okay. Or like, one of my friends in class, I'll send her text. And then she's like, she'll text me back right away and we'll have an actual conversation through that. But like, I would much prefer to just call her and be like, hey, Claire, do you want to hang out today? I'll pick you up, we'll get Dairy Queen. Like, shit like that.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Well, and then I think a lot of people feel like sometimes when you're, like, doing something with people, like, taking a phone call comes across as rude for a lot of people now, I think. So in situations where, like, oh, hey, like, people find it uncomfortable to be like, hey, excuse me for a moment, I need to go take a phone call. Like, some people get really uncomfortable with that idea. You know, and I think that might also be a factor, but who knows?
Yeah.
But we should probably...
You know what else is uncomfortable?
What's uncomfortable?
The way that we end this video.
Damn.
All right. Well, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like Kyle and I, check out our other series. We did Undertale. That's pretty cool. And yeah, please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. We make new videos Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And we stream on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 6. And Thursdays, we do a producer stream at 10. So... love you very much. Goodbye.